So this is where you usually stay? It's so spacious! This is making me jealous. If only I could use the abode arts of the Liyue Adepti on the Golden Beagle. It's great! I don't have to worry about the wind or rain or where my next meal is coming from. And the scenery is amazing! Thanks for inviting me! You're so nice. Can I ask a teeny tiny favor, though? Is it okay if I set up camp here? I'll find a spot that's out of the way. No, it's lovely! Everything's so comfy and cozy. The bed's warm and dry, and it smells nice, too. It's so much nicer than the rooms at the flagship, I'll tell you that. It's just, well, they say it's easy to go from rags to riches, but much harder to go back again. If I get used to this life, I'm worried I won't be able to return to living off the land. What if I find myself dreaming about this fluffy bed while I'm deep in the mountains? I'm not sure I could cope! For someone like me, I think it's best to maintain a healthy hunger for the finer things in life. That way, I can make sure my senses are sharp while never losing the drive and excitement to pursue what I want. For me, that's the crux of living. Indeed. So if it's all right with you, I'd like to set up my own camp somewhere out of the way. Out of interest, have you ever stopped to listen to the music of the night? The nighttime wilds are far from silent, and thickets that appear like shadows are actually hives of nocturnal activity. Some insects only sing when moonlight bathes the stage, chirping and chiming one after another as if following some mysterious tune. Listening to them sing is fascinating. If that sounds like something you'd like to hear, feel free to drop by my camp sometime. Or we can just lie there and gaze at the stars. That would be nice too. Sure! Found anything interesting on your recent adventures? Oh, that's wonderful! For us adventurers, there's no better way to pay the bills than finding a chest or two. Take me. If I relied solely on my income as a consultant for the Adventurers Guild, who knows how long it would take to save up for my own research vessel. However, I have to be careful when opening chests to make sure Lumi doesn't swallow whatever's inside. I really don't know where she picked up this habit of swallowing every shiny thing she sees. Though, come to think of it, there is a legend about crystal beetles that says they started carrying solid phlogiston around as a way to make themselves stand out. So, maybe the reason Lumi swallows shiny things isn't because she's hungry, but rather because she's collecting decorations, hoping to wear them one day and be accepted by the other Jack Frost. I'll make sure to feed her more next time. It's just a few chunks of ore after all. As long as I keep finding more chests, I can always replace them later. If you don't mind, I'd quite like to record my discoveries here in my encyclopedia. When I was chatting with Tubby earlier, she even gave me a feather. Oh, don't worry, I already asked. I always make sure to get permission as long as the subject is someone I can talk to. Well, in that case, I guess I'd figure it out on the fly? Come to think of it, the times I tracked that Rishbalin tiger and those waterbirds in Sumeru were really dangerous. Rishbalin tigers are highly territorial, so I set up camp some distance away from its den to allow for easier observation. Apparently, the fur on a Rishbalin tiger's temples allows it to measure distances. I wanted to verify this claim. But unfortunately, I got a little too close. Racing a Rishbalin tiger through the jungle really isn't something I'd recommend. If it weren't for a passing forest ranger coming to my rescue, I might not have made it out alive. But thanks to that experience, I also learned about a special rainforest fungus whose spores are the bane of the Rishbalin tiger. And with that, another page was added to my encyclopedia. So I guess you could call it a blessing in disguise. Well, it wasn't the water birds themselves that were dangerous, but rather the environment they live in. Lumi and I were in a small boat watching them build nests in their wetland habitat. They would pick up floating twigs and branches to use as nesting material. But clearly, besides us, there were other animals that had figured out their nesting habits. Those floating branches were actually traps. These other animals would wait for the water birds to wade out and pick them up. Exactly. A huge spinal crocodile suddenly leaped out of the water, and the waves it created almost capsized our boat. That noise alerted other spinal crocodiles nearby, and somehow they ended up deciding that Lumi and I would make even better prey. Luckily, they're not as agile on land as they are in water. Once we made it to dry ground, they stopped chasing us. So, if you're ever planning on going birdwatching in the wetlands, watch out for the dangers in the water, too. Right? I don't want to toot my own horn, but my lectures for fresh-faced adventurers are really quite popular. Those little educational picture books for kids? I've never considered that before. But it's not a bad idea. The children in the Conch Gang can't get enough of my stories. Maybe I have a special talent. Besides, if I can get published, the royalties would go a long way. Yeah! There's no time to lose! Let's get started right